But first, Nigerian women's rights activists are planning to march in Lagos over the weekend to denounce a surge in gender-based violence cases during the coronavirus lockdown. On Thursday, the Nigerian House Speaker described rape as a pandemic within the country as the group Movement Against Rape and Sexual Assault visited the National Assembly. In June, all 36 Nigerian states declared a state of emergency on rape and sexual violence. Let's speak to Dr. Zainab Shinkafi-Bagudu. She's the First Lady of Nigeria's Kebbi State. She's also a pediatric consultant and the founder of the Medicaid Cancer Foundation. She's joining us live from Kebbi. Thanks very much for your time with us on Al Jazeera. So since that declaration of a state of emergency last month by all 36 states, what's changed? Has the situation improved for women?
Very much so. Like you said, the state of emergency was brought on by the coronavirus lockdown. For various understandable reasons, the lockdown brought in its wake a lot of economic issues and a lot of health issues, and one of which was the frustrations that came about and an increase and upsurge of gender-based violence, rape and murders of women in all parts of the country. So a state of emergency was declared. And there have been a lot of actions by civil society, by government, all the various arms of government, the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive arm of government. As governors' wives, the first ladies have formed a coalition which has been actively doing a lot and talking to this issue. The Attorney General of the Federation has set up a task force. And like you just mentioned, the Speaker has been receiving advocacy groups, and the laws, especially in the northern part, where we have a lot of cultural issues that overlaps with the should I say, the laws, and there is resistance to pass these laws, have started coming around, and the laws that protect women and children and boys as well from the Violence Act have been, some states like mine, Kebbi State, has submitted the law to the State House of Assembly for onward passage.
Right, and so speaking of the law, let me just jump in there for a moment. Speaking of the law, I mean, is part of the problem that Nigeria has very low conviction rates for rape cases, and that, in fact, is what is contributing to gender-based violence. So there's really no accountability.
Nigeria is not the only country that has a low conviction rate. Rape, as you know, as I know as a medical person, is very hard to prove, because apart from the fact that in our areas, in all low middle-income countries, and in areas where you have a social and, should I say, a cultural impact, there's a culture of silence around rape. The women tend to go to report late, and so gathering evidence around rape can be a problem. Even in countries where there are laws, it's very difficult to gather convictions around rape. But I do agree with you that it's been difficult to convict a lot. However, we do not believe that it's just the laws that need to be passed. The major part of action is in changing the mindset, is in awareness, is in economic empowerment, and getting people to understand that this is wrong and women should be treated better.
What are the, just put the numbers into context for us, because you were saying a moment ago that because of the pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic in Nigeria, you've seen a rise in violence against women. What kind of numbers are you talking about here? Because it's reportedly difficult to get numbers anyways on sexual violence against women.
Absolutely. That's what I just tried to reiterate. Nigeria is a big country, 200 million people. In the northern part, we're besieged with issues of insurgency, misguided religious ideologies, Boko Haram, banditry, kidnapping. And the last 5 months, there has slowly been an increase. The Inspector General of the police gave a report of about 717 cases. And statistically, by research, for each one case of rape that is reported, we know that 10 more have not been reported. So if you extrapolate from what we know, that means there are probably about 7,000 cases of rape that has gone on in the last 5 months. Like I said, during the pandemic, there was an upsurge in reporting, and we feel that because of the advocacy that is going on and because of the positive action and movement by civil society, by the wives of governors, by the president himself spoke to this issue, the wife of the president, everybody is openly coming out and talking about it. Even the religious leaders that have not been doing so for a long time are openly talking, that have never been doing so, are openly saying that this is wrong and we must do something to stop it. It is a pandemic and we have to stop it. So people are talking. Rape victims are coming up and speaking from 5 years ago, from 10
Right.
years ago, from 15 years ago.
All right, we'll leave it there. We thank you very much, Dr. Zainab
Thank you for
Shinkafi-Bagudu, for
having me.
speaking to us on Al Jazeera. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Mali's Prime Minister.